back, man. NBA season right around the corner. And because we're not really there yet, no one is really giving me any hot takes on the internet. So I decided to go on Twitter and ask you. Let me hear your hot takes for the new NBA season. Low key, high key, you're somewhat disappointing me. Everybody's sitting there, they're trying to be all safe. If this happens and maybe that, Luka's gonna win MVP. That's not a hot take. But I did find some. Cooked by Riley said, Grizzlies are a finals contender. Yikes. I'm gonna be honest with you, when it comes to the Grizzlies, I'm a bit torn. I'm torn. You know, on one hand, Western Conference, a lot of talent, very competitive. And the Grizzlies, they have a lot of flaws that we cannot deny. So it's really hard for me to project how good they're going to be in this upcoming season. But on the flip side, I do believe a lot of people are sleeping on them, in particular Ja Morant. I hear a lot of people just like putting these other point guards above him. And I'm like, whoa, let's calm down for a second. Just because he's running around with gats and guns off the court, that doesn't mean he can't hoop anymore. He still is really, really great. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that. Biggest X factor for that team definitely is going to be how Ja fits alongside Zach Edey, or how Zach Edey fits alongside Ja and Triple J, because a lot of non-floor spacing is going to be interesting offensively. On the defensive side of the floor, it still should be really, really good, but of course, Zach Edey, young, a team that's going to need a little bit more work at the 5 position, is looking a little bit thin there. Rookie coming in and going to be slow-footed, who knows, but finals contenders, Nah. Ben Simmons and the Nets will make a lot more noise in the Eastern Conference than anticipated. 8th seed playoff appearance. I can't keep buying the Ben Simmons hype. I genuinely cannot. I've been crossing my fingers for the past 2 to 3 years now, hoping and praying that the Ben Simmons that we all saw in Philly at some point will make an appearance, let alone improve at that point in his career, but we haven't seen quite literally nothing of it whatsoever. And also, the Nets moved off Mikal Bridges. They're also trying to trade Cam Johnson, maybe even Nick Claxton, so I don't necessarily know if they're even pushing for an 8th seed rather than going in the opposite direction. So if they make the playoffs, in all honesty, it's a failure of a season because they're clearly trying to tank. If you end up not tanking in this draft, you fail. You're done. Like that. Don't be dumb. Don't be moronic. Don't be idiotic. Take it easy. Tell Ben Simmons, you know what? We actually want you to be on the bench more often this year. If Ben Simmons come out there hooping, it's like, let's you need something happened to your back. Okay. Sad Philly fan says, you losing weight. Oh, never mind. That's impossible. Which is crazy because that means that he hasn't noticed me slimming down, and also doesn't know part of the reason why I've been able to slim down and lose weight is because of today's sponsors, and they are Factor 75. Factor makes meeting your nutritious goals even easier by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietary approved meals straight to your doorsteps, and it is delicious. Now, I'm pretty sure some of the skeptics are sitting here saying, hey, I've heard this before, so what's the difference between this one and that one? Well, a couple of things. First and foremost, setup is very easy. Go on the platform, website, or app, make your account, and then you start the customization, and it is very, very thorough. It doesn't matter if you are a vegetarian, vegan, if you're trying to count your calories like I have, or you just want the chef's choice. All of that is available for you. And another huge separator is that Factor always has you covered no matter what you're trying to consume. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, smoothies, protein shakes, everything. They got it for you, dog. Now, in all seriousness, I have been a customer of Factor for months before they approached me with this opportunity, and there are 2 big reasons why I keep my subscription. A, it is ultra convenient. When it's time for me to eat, I literally just pull the meals out, follow the instructions, throw it in a microwave for about 2 minutes, and bada boom, bada bang. Great eats every single time. But easily the biggest reason why I stuck to the subscription is because counting calories and sticking to my diet has been super easy. On the back of the package, they give you all the information that is necessary, and that has been a world of difference for me, my diet, and me being able to lose weight throughout the process. So, if any of this sounds interesting to you, head to factory75.com or click the link below and use code FOTL50 to get 50% off on your first factory box and 20% off on your next month of orders. That's FOTL50 at factory75.com to get 50% off on your first box plus 20% off on your next month of orders. Trap Hagrid says, Russ getting his first ring, Magic winning 50 games, and Steph traded by the deadline. Russ getting his first ring, implying that the Denver Nuggets are going to go deep into the postseason. I actually agree. Last year surprised everyone. Timberwolves took down the defending champions, in large part to do with what Karl-Anthony Towns provided in that series. He's no longer there. Julius Foulias has to step in and try to produce whatever you saw from Towns. He doesn't have the length, doesn't have the shooting. I don't even know if he's going to have a starting position. So that's actually very, very feasible. And I do believe a lot of people are just like sleeping on the Nuggets because they lost KCP. I like KCP, very pivotal to what they were trying to accomplish. Three-point shooting may not be duplicated, but Christian Braun, underrated young player who's really improved, show a lot of promise, not the same three-point shooter, but definitely a better athlete than KCP. I do believe, because I saw a lot of people hating on the Denver Nuggets, and I know this is my Jokic love. Oh my God, Lo, you sucking off Jokic again. Russ getting his first ring, very feasible. Also, I was really high on this addition throughout the offseason. Stop shooting those threes, but more or less, yeah, I think it's a great fit. Magic winning 50 games. Speaking of KCP, Orlando's actually had a really solid last couple of years, introducing themselves into playoff conversation last season, made a lot of noise, seemed to give the Boston Celtics a lot of fits. I don't know why. Well, the length, athleticism, defense, I get it, but offensively, they have struggled mightily over the past couple of years. KCP does provide a little bit of answer there with his three-point shooting and still keeping the defensive integrity. But of course, a lot of the success is dictated on the leap we see from Paolo this year. If Paolo can continue to make the next step, continue to lead low-key, high-key, but still kind of low-key because no one really talked about it, and I don't think too many people even watched the series. Paolo actually had a pretty impressive playoff run last season. The other player, though, on this team that goes underneath the radar, for better or for worse, Franz Wagner. I have been a Franz Wagner fan for quite some time now. Huge on who he is supposed to be in this NBA. Some questionable tweets out there from me, but I'll put those aside. Very underrated on the defensive side of the floor, but of course his ceiling offensively is what really puts him over the top, and that's what they were truly missing last year. Three-point shooting, passing, playmaking, his big body, big frame, nice passing. He gives you a little bit of everything with what he provides for this team. That's what they were truly missing last season. And finally, Steph getting traded by the deadline, not going to happen. Not even going to go into any details about that at all. Just not going to happen. Mikey O says, James Wiseman, most improved player. Why did I even... What am I doing? Tank Flair says, Golden State is the 3rd seed. Houston trades Sengun. Bam wins DPOY. Memphis makes it to the Western Conference Finals. And J-Dub makes All-NBA. That's a lot to talk about. Golden State, 3rd seed. Holy hell. I don't think you know who Steph Curry was at the tail end of last year when they were asking him to backpack that entire team. Like, absolutely, positively not. Houston trades Sengun. Very interesting talking point. Look out for Houston all season long because they had a very interesting offseason. They didn't give Sengun nor Jalen Green a contract extension. However, what they decided to do is, for whatever reason, trade the Brooklyn Nets picks back to Brooklyn in return for Phoenix picks. And now this conversation that maybe Phoenix blows it up this year if they can't really piece it together because, of course, that's heading into a dead end. And then that's where the conversations come into play where maybe you trade Sengun as well as Phoenix, give them back their picks and let them just reorganize or restructure while you receive KD or Devin Booker. But what's definitely a more interesting talking point is that last year, beginning of March, Sengun sat out and Houston still looked really good. They were still winning games. They looked really great. Jalen Green looks even more impressive. And so there are conversations about how does Sengun mesh well with a lot of other players on his team. And I do believe there are some valid concerns that comes along with that criticism, as well as Sengun being a center, not the greatest rim protection. And can you actually win in that manner? Yes, I understand that Jokic just did that, but if you had to play at Jokic level to kind of get that done, even then it further kind of puts into question, can Sengun reach those heights? And even if he does, there's still a lot of concerns, even with Jokic, about him being a rim protection backline help at the 5 and how weak of a defender that position can you be and still be in title contention conversations. And so I think all of those things are very key to look forward to in this upcoming season. And I'm not going to say that Sengun should be traded, but I wouldn't be surprised that if we get in January, February, things aren't going well for Houston Rockets team that I think a lot of people have, some expectations for based off how they closed off last year. there could be some talks about Sengun being moved for someone that probably best suits the rest of the roster. That one Avery says, Warriors winning the championship this season. Steph texts me he is ready to get back to the playoffs and make a deep run this season. Draymond invited me and my family over for dinner and said the Warriors will win a championship guaranteed. I can't wait. I asked you for a hot take, not fan fiction, dog. Nobody sit here and text your family, tell you to come over for dinner, and Draymond said, guaranteed we gonna win. Bro, stop it, blood. You sitting here sending me your wet dreams. I asked you for a hot take. The Colin Dunk says, Wemby wins MVP. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I am full force Wemby glaze from here on out. It will not surprise me at all if Wemby goes out there and wins MVP. Now, I have seen several tweets and people on my timeline telling me, oh my God, the Chris Paul effect. Stop. Please stop. I don't know if you saw CP3 last year, but no. Nothing but Ben Gay and ice on his knees, even when he was playing. No. If the Spurs make the playoffs, if they rally, if they make some noise, it will be because of Wemby. It will start and stop because of Wemby. Popovich was out there just trolling for half of the season. He was just doing shit for the sake of doing it. And Wemby was still like, don't worry about it. I'm still going to go out there and at times look like the best player on the floor, even though I'm sharing it with Giannis some nights, Embiid some nights, Jokic, LeBron, Anthony Davis some nights. I'm still going to look like the best player from time to time. Now with more reps, now more practice with his teammates, now with a little bit more understanding of give me the fucking ball when I'm standing right next to the rim. I can see it. Maybe I'm glazing a little bit too much, but I can see it. OG Midnight 2 says OKC will win 70 plus games. I'ma keep it a thou wow with you. It is surprising to me how not enough people are thoroughly concerned about what the hell are they doing out there in OKC, because if you are any team that thought that they were trying to get some shit off in the next 2 to 3 years, you're not. 70 wins, a little bit too much dick sucking. You're slobbering a little bit too much. But 65, 63 in that range, number 1 seed, top 5 on both sides of the floor, Chet making the next step, Shea being Shea, J-Dub taking the next step too, Alex Caruso, an actual 5 next to Chet so they can grab rebounds now? I don't know. 70 wins, pick the slobber up. You're drooling a little bit too much, but I can get with 63, 65, 68. It's a little too deep in your throat at that point, but 63, 65? Levine Muse says Zack LaVine will reinsert himself into top 3 shooting guard in the league conversations. He's going to have a month or 2 stretch next season where he'll look like the best shooting guard in the league. And yes, this includes the likes of Booker, PG Brown, Donovan, Kyrie, and Anthony Edwards. Tell me when to stop. Tell me how deep you got that nigga dick in your throat, bro. It's crazy. Top 3? Now we'll say this. The Zack LaVine hesitation is a bit weird at this point. I do believe a lot of people tend to forget, bro, those 3 years leading up into the last season, LaVine was really one of them. 25, 27 points, great shooting across the board, finishing at the basket around, I want to say like 70%, mid-range shooting that was constantly in the 40s and mid-40s, and three-point shooting with a volume that made him one of the best in the league as well. A bit bigger than a lot of 2 guards in today's game, also with the athleticism. Defensively, certainly can improve, but in the right situation, can look really competent as a defender, and as a passer, he's also improved. I do believe from a lot of the 2 guards that have been listed off, that's the aspect of his game where he has fallen short over the years. But I think all in all, bro, LaVine was in constant conversation to be top 15, top 20. The league has gotten a little bit more talented over the past 2 to 3 years, so maybe that drops off a little bit. But I was just thoroughly surprised that a team like the Golden State Warriors would allow Chris Paul to walk for nothing, knowing that they weren't going to give Klay Thompson the money he was looking for, even though Zack LaVine was there. Maybe there's some information that I'm not privy to when it comes to his injuries and the severity behind it and how he's going to look coming back from it. I know he had a foot surgery, so that can be very serious. But for the most part, who Zack LaVine was before this last season, those 3 years he pieced together on a roster that was not maximizing. He was playing next to DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic. Like, bro, put him in a better situation. He's going to look just as good, more efficient. He was already efficient. And I do believe he could really complement a lot of teams in the playoffs. Again, the money is a lot, but if he can go back to the level of play that he was playing before the last season, I do believe there's going to be quite a few teams that are interested in who LaVine can be on their roster. I think the Warriors are certainly one of them. Maybe even the Lakers. I do believe he fits a lot of what teams are missing desperately in the NBA. But yo, those are all the hot takes we have today. Thank y'all for Twitter for providing them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell to always get updated when I upload on this channel. And make sure you hit the link down low as well for Factor 75, today's sponsors. And until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.